love when my heater turns on as soon as I go live. Hi guys, hey YouTube, hey Periscope. Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thanks for tuning in. I go live on Periscope every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. So if you like this kind of content, feel free to follow or subscribe. Hey Mike, hey Hillary, hey Rhodey. Mike, do you watch Survivor? I don't know if we have a lot of Survivor fans in here live at the moment or not, but I do a recap, an episode recap every single week of this week's episode. So last night we had episode 9, which is called War Is Not Pretty, and it's season 40, the 20th year anniversary of Survivor. It's been a great season thus far, and last night was a pretty fun episode to watch. Hey, you're still on season 4, no spoilers. Well, you should leave because there's going to be spoilers. Hey Place, hey Product. All right. So it started out with Michelle being upset about being blindsided with Nick with Wendell going home last week. Spoiler. That's okay. Yeah, if you don't watch Survivor, you can still chill and hang out. Hey Jamie. And remember that Michelle used to date Wendell. So this season is called Winners at War because it's all people who have previously won the show Survivor before. All of these people, all 20 contestants, have all won $1 million from Survivor in the past, and now they're battling it out to win $2 million. So she's upset, and she's like, listen, I wanted Wendell out from the very beginning because that's my ex-boyfriend, and he hurt me in the real world, so why did I get left out of that vote? Because really, I mean, her and Nick were Wendell's true closest allies, and Wendell ended up going home, so Nick and Michelle were left out of the vote. But it wasn't necessarily meaning that those two were in danger, but being blindsided, being left out, it does make you feel like you're on the bottom. Not as good as last week. Adam kind of flopped. I actually said, I wish that I was watching it live, because I actually said to my boyfriend, Adam gets so much airtime. Have you ever noticed that? He must be like a really interesting person. And then a minute later I go, or maybe he's going home tonight, because they mess that. They kind of give it away sometimes when they give people a lot of airtime in one episode. Oftentimes that's the person who ends up going home, and it's kind of like, you know, because that's like their last hurrah, you know, the last time you really get to see them. So, hi. Adam should have played harder. Well, I loved what happened at Tribal Council. I can't wait to get to that part. Hi Ed. Did I think it was an idol? I thought it might have been, actually. Hi Lori. That's my boyfriend there, SJ Broker, saying that I did call it. Last 15 minutes of fame. Yeah, last hour of fame. Exactly. So Adam sees Michelle is upset, and he takes it as an opportunity, and he tells her, did you see that fleur-de-lis pattern on the front of the voting podium, or the front of the podium that Jeff stands at during Tribal Council? It's the same shape as the idols, and I think that might be an idol, and that would be historical, right? There's an idol right there in plain view of everyone there, and potentially you could grab it and use it as an idol, but how are you going to grab it? How are you going to do it? You know, what do you think? But so he kind of shares that with Michelle. Hi Tia, first comment over on YouTube. You like my shirt? Thanks. It's my yoga shirt. Or you could also look at it as my gay shirt. Alright. I'm a little bit cold, so my shirt under this is much cuter, but I'm too cold to take this off. Alright. So then they go to the edge of extinction, and the clue that they got for everyone, my boy Yule goes and gets the clue, and it's like Natalie and I think Danny and Parvati doing yoga on the beach. Really, really cool. And, excuse me, hi Hizo. Yule goes and gets the little box, and he comes over and he says, you know, everybody gets their clue. We all have to read it at once. And it says something along the lines of like, you know, you've all won before. It's time to step back and assess. When history repeats itself, it could lead to success. And so Amber immediately is like, it means there's something on the top of the mountain, because that's kind of been a repeating theme there. A repeating pattern is they have to go up to the mountain, they get fire tokens, they find clues, and they get stuff when they go up there. So she says that, and they all go up there together. And then they split up into groups of 2 and 3. Well, Parvati and Danny are off, and Danny says, you know, what if it's like history repeats itself like a previous season? And they've only had Edge of Extinction one season before, which was 2 seasons ago on season 38, and Aubrey was there. And Parvati said, well, Aubrey remember she had found one near the steps, and they both were like, that's it, isn't it? Because it says step back and assess, so the word step is in it. But also Aubrey on that season, when she found the clue, was literally like, she stepped back and looked up at the steps, and she saw little like holes in the walls next to the steps, and that's exactly where they found this clue this time. So Parvati found it, and it wasn't a clue, I'm sorry, it was an actual reward. So it was a flip a coin advantage. So it's a coin that you can flip at Tribal Council, and if it lands on safe, it acts as an immunity idol. If it lands on not safe, it's basically good for nothing. So it's a 50-50 chance of being an immunity idol. And it says that they can sell it to somebody still in the game, but they get to set the price of the tokens, which I love because it's adding to this whole concept of the economy and having this separate island where they can sell things to people still in the game for an exchange of tokens, and now they get to pick the price. Prior to this, everything they sold was one token, and there was no leeway on them getting to choose how much they were going to get it for. So Parvati says, well, Michelle's the richest one in the game. She has 4 fire tokens, which is absolutely correct. So they decide, okay, let's try to sell it to Michelle, see if we can get the 4 fire tokens. And Parvati was like, well, I was thinking about keeping it just between Danny and I. We could get some peanut butter, and just she and I could split a jar of peanut butter. But then she said, her human nature came out, and she saw everyone else who'd been there for longer than her, and they've been really, really hungry and not eating anything, and she really likes these people. She has relationships with some of them outside of the game, so she said, screw it, and she told them all that they found it and they were going to try to sell it to Michelle. So Michelle did end up buying it. They had gotten I'll talk about the fortune cookie thing in a minute. Shara, thank you for the super hearts. Hi, Hizo. Thanks for inviting, Michael. Sorry, I was missing some comments here. Oh, I don't speak that language, but walaikum salam. So then after that, so they're like, okay, we're going to sell it. Everybody knows. Then they go back to the active game. And let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. It ends up being a reward challenge, and the reward is for Chinese food. And during the intro of this reward challenge, Jeff Probst, the host, says, war is not pretty, which ends up being the title of this episode. War is not pretty. Hey, J-Rod. Wait, are you asking me that creepy question again? Dude, no. Go away. All right, sorry. Weird fetishes online. Okay, so it ends up being, it's an uneven number of people, so it's 11 people left in the game. So it's a reward challenge, which usually they split into teams. So there's 2 teams of 5, and one person's going to be left out. They randomly choose 4 team captains, and then they pick their team. So it was Kim as team captain and Jeremy as team captain, and Kim was the blue team and Jeremy was the red team. So the blue team actually is kicking butt. So I realized they have Sophie and Michelle on the puzzle, and those 2 are the puzzle masters. So I'm like, Kim nailed it. She picked exactly the right people. It was her, Sarah, and Ben in the water they had to carry like these big sticks through the water. They had to untie them, get them down. They had to, I think it was untie. They had to swim them onto the beach. Then they had to untie all these puzzle pieces, hang them on hooks. They were puzzle pieces that looked like fish. They had to hang them on hooks, and they had to carry the puzzle pieces on the hooks, on the poles, over to the puzzle people, where the puzzle people took the fish off the hooks, and they make a puzzle made out of fish-shaped pieces. And they had Sophie and Michelle on the puzzle, so I predicted also that they would win. They did, but we'll give it a second. They were also ahead on the physical challenge, and it was very impressive because that team was predominantly women. It was all women and Ben. And then on the other team, it was all men. It was everybody else. I don't know if I'll remember, but it was like Nick, Jeremy, Adam. I'm missing 2 more people. I don't know. But Denise was not chosen, so Denise was sat out. And I thought that might be somewhat indicative of where Denise was on the tribal hierarchy, because they did say that she has a resume, and it seemed like she was a decent sized target last week, but she had won immunity, so they couldn't go after her, so they went after Wendell instead. Now this week I thought she might end up being one of the targets. Is the Family Feud game over? We didn't play that game today. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, so then Michelle and Sophie, they win with the puzzle. Oh, and then Sarah says, can I give up my reward? And she gives it to Nick because it was Nick's birthday the day before, and he was also blindsided on his birthday. So she kind of feels bad, and that's her human experience. She stands by, even in her private talks, she says, it really wasn't strategic, it really wasn't gameplay, it was just like, we can all just be decent humans and like feel empathy and pity for somebody who got blindsided on his birthday and also lost the reward the next day. Like, I'll just give my reward to him. She's tough, right? She's like, I don't need Chinese food, I don't really care, give it to him. Well, even Nick is like, oh no, that was totally strategic, I don't care, I don't trust Sarah, nobody trusts Sarah. They're like, I've seen the way she plays before, she tries to become friends with people, then she votes them out, and that's, everybody kind of seems like they're not everybody, but several people really don't trust Sarah. Same thing with Adam, says the same thing. So I wrote the wrong name down here, sorry. I take notes when I watch Survivor. Okay. So they win the reward, they have their Chinese food, they enjoy it, and there's a little bit of like kind of strategizing going on, but there's not much that can be done before the immunity challenge. So then the immunity challenge is an endurance challenge again with those, some of you have seen it on Survivor before. It's those floating pyramids that have the little steps on them, and they have to balance their feet, just like the inner parts of their feet on the little planks, the little wooden parts. And, there's waves in the water, it's the ocean, and they have to try to stay balanced. So whoever can hold their balance the longest wins. It was just one immunity winner tonight, plus the immunity winner also gets one fire token. So long story short, Kim ended up winning. It was down to her and Ben at the end. Ben fell, Kim won, and Kim got immunity as well as a token, which was really impressive and really awesome because Kim really was like on the bottom for a little while in the beginning, and to see her working her way up, and it seems like her social game and her connections are actually pretty good here, and it's starting to look reminiscent of her previous game when she won, because she's only played once before as far as I know. Hey Matthew, how are you? Welcome for your first day on Periscope, people coming in for the first time. So she wins, she gets the fire token, and they're kind of chatting, and she said, she's part of a majority group of the tribe, and basically Nick and Michelle were left out of the last tribal, so they say, why don't we just split it between those two? They had talked about maybe splitting it between Nick and Adam, and then they were like, or we could do Nick and Michelle, since they were both blindsided last week, it'd be easy, we can just kind of like keep our big majority and just go for one of them. So they're like, all right, we'll split the vote, because there's enough of us to split it between Nick and Michelle. Easy, done, right? You always think it's going to be easy like that. Then they decide, then Nick tells Tyson that he's hearing his name put out there. And Tyson says, yeah, who said my name? And Nick said, I think it was Sophie. So then Tyson decides that he wants to target Sophie. And he's talking to Jeremy and Adam, let's go for Sophie. And then Adam says, well, I would actually much rather do Sarah. Like 100,000%, I would rather go for Sarah. So then they're like, all right, well, we'll just do Sarah then. That's fine. So we'll go for Sarah. And then that gets back to Kim. And Kim's like, what the heck? Sarah? Really? I thought we were going between Nick and Michelle. So why don't we just go for Adam then? Because then, I forget who it was. I don't know if I wrote this down. Oh, Tyson realizes that Adam has a lot of power, that he basically says he wants Sarah, and everybody decides to go with that. Tyson doesn't like that. He feels like that's a threat in the game, more threatening than Sarah herself. So he decides that they should actually go for Adam. And Tyson also says, and aside to the producers, that he's realized before from playing Survivor, he's played at least 3 times, that the more confusion that you can create around the tribal council, the more that you kind of, people aren't really saying your name or thinking about you. You're you're putting all these other names, Nick's throwing other names out. There's a lot of confusion, and that many of them said it was chaos. Denise said that she aged multiple years in one day. Nobody seemed to really know what the plan was. It kept changing and changing and changing. You could see Jeremy's laughing every time someone comes up to him with a new name. It's like, who's it going to be? Okay, I'm going to go with this. All right, I'll do that. Okay, no, oh, we're going to do that. Okay, I'll do that. Or, oh, all right, we're going to do this. Okay, I'll do that. And it was all very confusing. So during Tribal Council, it's that same energy. There's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of stuff going on. And ultimately, at the end, let me just make sure. You got to see Denise go tell Kim that some people were talking Sarah. So there's definitely a potential alliance there. But also, this is how this is like Kim's gameplay. People view Kim as like, she's like the popular girl, and people want to like go be in with her. So I kind of saw that with Denise. Denise also doesn't seem to really have many options for alliances, so. Yeah, so it seems like it's pretty much between Nick, Sarah, or Adam, and Nick says that at Tribal Council, people start deciding who they're going to switch, what are they thinking, all this stuff. At Tribal Council, Adam's getting really worked up, him and Ben get into it, kind of a fight, and then Adam, at the end, is left kind of awkwardly saying, hello, is anyone going to say anything to me? And everyone's really quiet, and you're kind of like, oh, it's probably going to be Adam. It's just like, he's just like, okay. And they go do the votes, and so they go do their votes, they come back, and before he reads out the votes, before Jeff reads out the votes, he says, if anyone has a hidden immunity idol, now is your time to play it. Nobody plays one. Adam's staring at the podium and decides to go for it, which is the best part of the whole episode. He gets up, he goes up to the podium, he finds his fleur-de-lis, he's pulling on it, he's like, oh no, come on, nothing, and he's like yanking on it, and he goes and he sits back down, he's like, man, it's worth a shot. And Jeff was like, what was that? And he goes, I thought it was an immunity idol. And Jeff goes, are you convinced that it's not? And Adam was like, I don't know. He's like, can I play that? I'd like to play that. And Jeff is like, you'd like to play this thing that you couldn't take off of the podium. And he's like, yeah, if I can, like, I'm playing that. I'd like to play that. And he's like, okay. So Jeff says, if this is a hidden immunity idol, it's historic. It would be there in plain sight of all the members of Tribal Council, and you would be playing it for yourself, right? And Adam was like, yes. And then Jeff was like, well, it's not a hidden immunity idol. So let's read the votes. But it was really entertaining. It was fun. Everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? And potentially it might have given some ideas for future seasons of options of where they could put something like that. And then, you know, because they could definitely introduce an element like that into the game for sure. So ultimately what ended up happening was this. Adam did indeed get voted out. Yeah, it would have been so cool, right, Travis? But as kind of to be expected, he did end up getting voted out, and he gave his token to Denise. So now I'll give you guys an update on the fire tokens, and then if you have any other questions or discussion, that's probably the most succinct, shortest Survivor recap I've ever done. They're usually like an hour long, but I didn't have... Oh, you skipped the last 2 episodes? Oh, no! Hi, Gerald. I did not have COVID. No. What about Joe Rogan? Ooh, pizza. Yum. Raymond, this was last night's episode. It seems like maybe you're a little out of touch. This is the 20th anniversary season of Survivor. It's called Winners at War. They're playing for $2 million, and it's all people who have won the game of Survivor before. So it's historic in terms of this show. Hey, Mindful, did you miss the game? What game? What are you guys talking about? Why is everyone like... Did Sonam send you guys here to say that? Yeah, it definitely would have been really cool. I didn't know you missed it. I'm sorry to hear that. Is that Ben? Ben, hi, Ben. Okay, wait, who did I not... Oh, yeah, no, I did. I thanked Shara for the super hearts. Thank you, Shara. We're actually, let's see, how many does that put us at? Okay, we're 65,000 super hearts away from having to do a dare, but I'm only $25 on the website away from having to do a dare. So every day I get $100 on the website or 100,000 super hearts in one day, then I do a dare for each of those. So I do up to 2 dares a day. We're at $75 on the website between the website and my GoFundMe page, and we're at 25,000 super hearts, so... Unk, I gave you a shout out last night during my top Super Heart contributor broadcast. I think it was called Thank You for a Lovely March. Thanks, Raymond. I don't know. You come in here and ask me questions like this all the time, brother. I cannot speak for all white women. All right, so here are the changes of the fire tokens. So Michelle started off the episode being the richest person in the entire game with 4 fire tokens, which she knew that she was. Then she bought that 50-50 idol, which I actually think was not a good buy. Have you noticed that this season no one has said no to the offers? Oh, so she bought the idol because the fortune cookie that she read during her time on the reward where she was eating the Chinese food said the more you empty your pockets, the happier you will be. Something like that. That was one fortune cookie. And the other one said, like, don't be afraid to take the big leap or the big jump, something like that. So she was like, oh, those are signs. That means that I should do this. And I'm like, maybe. I mean, I guess it could ultimately save her, but it could also not save her. And now she gave up what I believe was power in having the 4 tokens. She's like, I need some power in this game. And I'm like, well, you have more fire tokens than anyone else. So to me, that seems like power already, but she wanted power in a different form, which is now a 50-50 chance of having power. So I'm curious to see what happens when someone rejects the purchase. Oh, and I'm also curious to see what they do with the fire tokens on the edge, because they all kind of made this group decision. And who do those 4 fire tokens go to? Are they going to go to Parvati? And if they do, is she going to spend it all on food for everyone there on the island, or is she just going to do a little bit? I'm curious to see how that kind of plays out in the future. So that took Michelle down to 0 fire tokens. So she now has 0 fire tokens along with everyone on the edge, with the exception of Parvati and maybe Danny, because they were kind of together when they found it. So Parvati touched it. So it's Parvati's, that's the rule in Survivor. The first person to touch it is the one who gets the advantage. So I think it probably is Parvati, so Danny probably has 0 as well. But that means Natalie, Rob, Amber, Yul, Wendell, and now Adam, because he was voted out, all have 0 fire tokens. Did I say Adam gave his token to Denise? Hopefully I did. If I didn't, I just did. And Tyson has 0 as well, but he's back in the game. So then we have the new richest, well, I guess that makes Parvati the richest person now, but I do think she basically is planning to spend it on food. So I don't think she's going to keep many, if any, of those tokens. But if she's not the richest, then we have the richest person on the island right now is actually Denise, because now she has 3 fire tokens. Kim, Jeremy, and Nick all have 2 fire tokens. Kim earned her extra one tonight when she won. And that's everybody left in the game, believe it or not. I'm sorry, that's not everybody. Everybody else that I didn't mention has 1 fire token, just like in the beginning. Mindful, thank you for the super hearts. I appreciate that. Reading is fundamental. Didn't read the title. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I hope to see you tomorrow. I am just about done with content for today, so I hope I see you back tomorrow. Parvati's still kicking. Yeah, Parvati is awesome. I love Parvati on the edge. I didn't really get to see her play the game on the main island, so it's cool to see her on the edge being such a positive source of energy. Like, she's just very, very positive, and seeing her do yoga, and I'm like, okay, I love this girl. I love that you at least answered him. What about me? I prefer my boyfriend who's white. Thank you, Travis. You too. Let's see. Just checking something. I'm going to miss your comments just for a second on Periscope. If you're on YouTube, I'll still see your comments. I gotta check something. Okay. Let me come back into the chat. Okay, I'm back. Oh, and who is that in our little game? Each of our friends has one person they want to win. So that is Steph Taylor Live. Oh no! So she is actually now out of the game for now. Remember, everyone goes to the edge of extinction, so they can earn their way back into the game. Meaning the guy I want to win, Yul, can still win. And the only person that's actually completely out of the game is Tracy, unfortunately, because Sandra did quit. She gave up and she raised the flag on Edge of Extinction and went home. She's already won twice before. She's already won $2 million from Survivor, and she's not a great challenge competitor, so she doesn't want to live on the edge of extinction and try to compete her way back in, so she was like, I'm just gonna go home. Yes, Ben, yeah, that was actually through GoFundMe, my GoFundMe page, but that's actually the thing that really pushed us to being we're less than $4,000 away from my goal for my schooling. So if you guys don't know, I'm a psychology major. I will be graduating with my associate's degree in about 1 month, even though I can't have a full graduation ceremony because of the pandemic. That's fine by me. I wasn't planning on walking or getting a, cap and gown or anything like that anyway. I'm just glad to be getting my degree. I start my bachelor's degree classes in the fall. I'm really excited to get that started. Some of the classes I'm taking are very exciting for me, like the psychology of scientific thinking. in psychology as a profession or something like that. There's some pretty interesting classes I'll be taking, so I'm excited with that. And I'm excited because a few people in my last broadcast supported my GoFundMe, which is for the schooling. So it's for tuition, books, lab supplies, and extra. Sometimes you have like an extra login to get to access the class, which is usually around like an extra $100. I had that for a couple of my math classes. So it worked out to be about $11,500 for my associate's degree, and all paid out of pocket. So, sorry, not all paid out of pocket. I got about $3,000 to $3,500 in grants, like the Pell Grant and then the Community College Opportunity Grant. So I'm really excited about that. And I now I'm only $4,000 away, less than $4,000 away from my goal. And my first year of my bachelor's program should be virtually free because I found that Community College Opportunity Grant, and I can actually take the first year of my bachelor's program at my community college. So I'm going to take fall and spring classes because they don't apply the grant to summer or winter classes, which is how I accomplished this degree so fast. Excuse me. It only took me 10 months to get a 2-year degree. But it was very expensive, and I'm not rolling in cash, right? I don't make tons of money as a live streamer. I love being a live streamer, and I hope one day it'll be very, very, fortuitous for me. But for now, I got to be really smart with my money so that I can keep doing what I love to do and learning how to do something I would love to do in addition to this, which would be to be a psychologist. So I am just going to take fall and spring classes for the first year of my bachelor's. That should all be covered. Tuition should all be covered by the grant, which means I'd only have to pay for whatever books I can't find for free online, and then any supplies or logins that I need for the class. So it's going to be a lot less. So I'm feeling really good about this, and then that gives me another year to accrue money and save money for my second year of my bachelor's program, then 2 years of my master's and 2 years of my doctorate, but one step at a time. Can you be my first client? I guess we'll see if you're around in 3 years when I can finally start doing therapy with people. Ben, I'll tell you privately. I try not to say things publicly that could give up like either my location or certain details about my life in terms of like a troll contacting my school, and I do have some pretty obsessed trolls that I don't really trust with certain information. I wouldn't want them to like contact the admissions board of my school, and you know what I mean? I don't want my school to have to deal with trolls basically, and I don't want that to impact anything that of my pursuing my goals. So I'll tell you, like, if you want to DM me or email me or something, I would totally tell you. Or if you just ask me in the private group, I would say it in there too. I actually think I did say in the private group once before. Give it to Mr. Survivor, Boston Rob, but also have Parvati, Tyson, and Tony. You think Ben will win? Dude, I love Ben's voice. I was noticing that on this episode last night. I was like, dude, Ben has like just the coolest voice. Yeah, Ben, I think Ben could win. I think Sophie's doing really well, but I think people are realizing that Sophie's really smart and her social game's pretty on point, so I see her as like a Lauren from last season. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like Tyson. He's really funny. Rob is great. Him and Tyson were really neck and neck. I personally want Yule to win. I know he's on the edge of extinction, but he could come back, right? I don't know. I heard host Jeff says his Mount Rushmore would be Parvati, Rob, Sandra, and Ben. So I think Ben wins. Oh, nice, Rocky. That's a good little hint there. Makes perfect sense. I was thinking University of Hawaii sounds good. Yeah. I mean, if it was all online, but usually in-state tuition is cheaper, so it's got to be in New Jersey. Ben has a great shot, in my opinion. The name says it all. And I was like, wait, you watched Survivor? And then it clicked. I prefer Tyson also. My boyfriend wants Tyson to win, and he actually did win his way back into the game already once from Edge of Extinction, so that's exciting. Thank you, Rody, for the update. Hey, Mike. Yeah, so we'll see who wins. I don't know. Let's see who's left. Let's see what we think. Michelle, I'm thinking probably no. Denise, I don't think as well. But Denise, maybe because of the Sandra thing, but I think Denise is a target because of that. So I was actually really surprised that her name didn't get thrown out at all tonight. But I think what we're seeing is maybe that the women are gaining some power here. Like, Tyson, though, what they showed was that Tyson was kind of the first person. Actually, Kim said it too, that she wanted Adam in the beginning, and then Tyson decided that he wanted to flip everything on Adam because he thought he had too much power. So it's interesting to see like who has a lot of influence. I love Jeremy. I would love for Jeremy to win. I don't think Nick. I don't know if Kim makes it to the end. She has a chance of winning. That's the thing, is these people all do, assuming no one comes off the edge. Obviously, one person will, but we don't know who that will be. Yeah, actually, I guess those. Oh, I don't. You know, I don't have the people written down who only have one fire token here, like Ben. Yeah, Sarah, Sophie. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. It's hard to say. Very hard to say. Hey, who just snuck in here? Is that Greg? Hey, Greg. Chloe, thank you for the super hearts. You don't think Denise stands a chance? Yeah, probably not. If Tyson wins. I do watch Survivor. Oh, you do? Yes! You really hope Tyson wins? Kim, #1. She is doing good, yeah. Some skin in the game. Story time? We just did Survivor. We're done. We're done. Hey, Kim. Good to see you. Thanks for coming over on YouTube. Do you want Kim to win? Oh, there's no one named Taylor, so I'm going to go for Yule. But also, I really want Natalie to win. There's a few people, right? So I'd be really happy. I don't think Sarah will win. So I don't think Tony will either. I'd be really happy to see Natalie. I don't think Parvati would be able to win either. So Natalie, Yule. Those are probably my people. I mean, other people would be cool too. Maybe Sophie. But, yeah. They all deserve to win. Whoever wins earned it. All right, I'm going to go now. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. And I have a bunch of homework to do, so I hope to see you guys on the next juice. If you didn't hear me in the beginning, I go live every single day, 7 days a week, for 3 hours a day on Periscope, so feel free to follow me here. Greg, thank you, Chloe, for those super hearts, and Shara, the women really rocking it tonight with 16,000 super hearts. Hemphasis group, thank you for the super hearts too. I will be back tomorrow with some more content for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the meditation earlier, as well as the goal setting broadcast, and now Survivor recap. I do this every single week, so stay tuned for next week for this, and stay tuned on my Periscope channel for this every day. Thiago, hello! I'm just signing off. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel too. I don't go live on YouTube as often, but I do go live on there at least once a week with this content. So, hope to see you guys on the next juice. Big shout outs and thank yous to all of these amazing people who make this channel possible. Remember, if I get $25 more on the website before the end of the day, I'll have to do a dare. So if that does happen, tomorrow I'll be drawing a dare live. Hope to see you there. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. Wait, let me use my other fingers. These fingers. Okay. Bye.